Anybody who intends to record the meeting must first notify the chair, then inform the attendees. Do you intend to record this evening? No. Okay. So would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have a couple of housekeeping matters before we get to the public hearing, the first of which is when one door closes, another door opens. The door that's closing is apparently the departure of our esteemed planner, Mr. Eidman, and the arrival on the board of Ms. Emily Brody. So I'd like to say goodbye and hello, the Janice face of the 2020s these days. Just wanted to ask if you had any recommendations for us, or what's the status of the long-range plan, other issues that if you want to submit or whatever. I'd like to, I don't know if you want to do it on the record or whatever, but I just wanted to open it up.
No, that's okay.
A coup.
I'm sorry.
I'm going to propose a coup.
Cool, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the select board is in the process of choosing members for the local comprehensive plan update. They've had interviews with all the interested applicants, and they're in the process of doing that now. Then there would have to be an RFP for the consultant. Then I think probably about a 1.5 to 2 year period, that plan would be drafted. It would ultimately be brought back to the planning board under the town's charter. It's the planning board that has the jurisdiction to recommend that plan to town meeting for approval. It would also, I imagine the way it would be drafted, it would also be drafted for certification under the Cape Cod Commission plan. So the Cape Cod Commission would also be reviewing it for certification that it's consistent with the policy plan on Cape Cod. What's another matter? Bring up the Cape Cod Commission. There's the matter of the design guidelines.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly keep in touch with Sarah. I think the last time we discussed it, it was in pretty good shape, and we had made some comments. David made some comments. I'd reviewed it. You'd reviewed it, Duncan. So at some time it should come back to the board. My recommendation was that you hold a hearing on it.
Right.
And it be adopted so it has some force of law, even though it's not the bylaw itself. That's actually borne out by the zoning bylaw, West Harwich Special District provisions. As you recall, when I first came on, there was a minor change to the zoning bylaw, which both authorized and required the board, if it did develop guidelines, that it do it by way of a hearing.
Right.
So it's another thing that underscores the need for a hearing to adopt those design guidelines.
Okay. And this is something we can get Elaine to announce, publish when we have the final document?
Yeah, you would, well, certainly in a notice, you would provide that there's a hearing.
Right.
Because the board is considering design guidelines. And then when you complete that hearing, whether it's one session or more than one session, you would take a vote to adopt the design guidelines. You don't necessarily need to incorporate them into the code. I mean, a good place for them for publicity is to put them on the website.
Right.
But more than that, there's no special legal way that the board needs to promulgate them. You don't need to, say, publish them for 30 days in a
Right, okay.
newspaper.
That's what I meant about Elaine's kind of managing of the tactical side of things.
Yeah, she understands. I
Right.
spoke with her about that.
Great.
So.
Well, we wish you all the best. I know you're going far, far away in the hinterlands up north.
It's called the North Parish.
Right, the North Parish.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you very much. Appreciate all you've done for us on your tenure here.
Second motion.
And Ms. Brody, would you care to introduce yourself to the?
Sure, absolutely. I'm Emily Brody. I've been a full-time Harwich resident for about 15 years. I live here with my husband, my 4-year-old, my 3-year-old, and my 9-month-old. I'm thrilled to join the team and serve this great community. It's a great place to live and have a family, so thrilled to be here.
We're thrilled to have you. Thank you very much. And we have, like I said, light lifting tonight. So why don't we get on to the
Can I
public?
interject? I'm glad you have young kids. You'll meet one of the most wonderful people in Harwich, my wife, who's the school librarian in Harwich. She's always thrilled to see new children and families.
Oh, my children, but
No,
we'll see.
all children.
You know this is being recorded, right?
I know.
All right, so we'll get on with the public hearing this evening. Case number PB 2020-10, Fava seeks approval of a use special permit for an in-ground pool pursuant to the Code of the Town of Harwich, Section 325-94A, Section 4. The property is located at 187 Round Cove Road, Assessor's Map ID number 95/S1 in the R-R zoning district and the Six Ponds Special District. Mr. Fava, please step up to the table if you'd like.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Anthony Fava. I am the owner of 187 Round Cove Road. And we are proposing a ground pool at the site. The property is currently under construction to build a single-family residence with a garage. And we are currently in the framing stage of the project. Under the code here, because we are in that Six Pond Special District, any sort of pool like the one we're proposing requires a special permit. So we have filed for that. I could walk you through the plans a little bit.
Sure.
So the plan should be fairly descriptive. Obviously, the rectangular blue area in the rear yard is the proposed pool. That is a 20-foot wide by 45-foot long pool. It will have about a 20 wide patio deck to the northwest side of it. The pool itself is set back off the rear of the house by about 35 to 40 feet. And the pool will have a shallow end and also a deep end as well. The pool is going to, the chemicals will be maintained by a salt-based system. The pool will be heated with an electric heating system. And it will have an integrated a cover that can be controlled remotely. I'm doing some research on it now. It's an interesting cover where you can literally stand on it when it's closed, which is a nice safety feature, because we have kids and dogs and all that. The pool equipment, in terms of the heaters and the pumps and whatnot, will be located just west of that patio deck that is next to the pool, and it'll be screened by some plantings and maybe some fenced areas. The yard itself will be encompassed by a fence that it's kind of hard to tell, but it will meander through the wooded areas of the lot. But it will be of requisite height, to provide safety so that no one can get into the yard easily and potentially not know the pool's there and fall into it. The fence loop will be enclosed by the residents. So because of that, all exterior doors leading to the backyard will need to be equipped with an alarm system. So anytime a door is opened, an alarm will sound. You have to shut it off so anyone knows that someone's going into the backyard. Again, a safety feature. And there will be also 2 gates leading from kind of the garage area. The garage is kind of a looking structure, kind of freestanding to the southeast of the single family house. And there's a couple gates over there that will provide access to that area into the yard space. And then in terms of zoning requirements, we're right on the cusp of the maximum limit of disturbed area. I believe the limit is about 30,000 square feet. We're pretty close to that. In terms of like impervious areas, lot coverage, we have some. Obviously, it's a large lot, so we have some surplus there. So we're in good shape. And then the pool complies with all setbacks and whatnot, side and rear and front. As far as drainage goes, there's really, the driveway itself and the parking areas in front of the garage are intended to be either like a or maybe just a sandy surface, so stormwater controls are going to be needed to handle any sort of runoff. It's intended that all water should just percolate into the ground. Obviously, our main areas of impervious are the roof of the family garage, and there'll be downspouts, gutters and downspouts that kind of lead the water away from the house and structures, but it the water to naturally percolate. And same thing with the patio spaces. They're designed to just allow water to sheet off into those areas. And the last thing I'll mention is any sort of pool equipment or the salt for the purification and chemical balancing is going to be stored in the garage area, early in there, so no one can get access to it. So that's a high-level overview of everything. Just wanted to see if you folks had any questions about that.
Let's hear from Mr. Eidman first.
Yeah, remember the permit before you tonight is just for the pool. I appreciate the general overview, though. I mean, I think it just displays the cooperative spirit and the transparency with which Mr. Fava has dealt with Elaine and I in the planning department and with the building department. There's some complexity in this particular zone in terms of the zoning. So we've had a lot of discussions back and forth, not just about the pool, but about the property and the siting of the house. And even Hawks Nest Road is considered a scenic road under the zoning bylaw, so there's even a special kind of setback off of Hawks Nest Road. So a lot has gone into this plan. He mentioned the square feet of clearing, and it's not even an absolute prohibition, but a special permit is required to clear over 30,000 square feet. They're under the 30,000 square feet with the entirety of the development that's being proposed. In this particular district, as you've seen before in the past few meetings or so, a special permit is required for an accessory district. And really the standards you're looking at are whether the proposed use, and this is a general special permit standard, whether the proposed use and development will adversely affect the neighborhood and whether the property is an appropriate location for the proposed use. On both counts, I would say yes, especially as you see the scheme for developing this property. It's a residential property. A pool fits in, especially the way it's designed here. I think you should what's especially commendable here is the sort of landscape plan the family is put forward for the site. All the plantings are primarily native plantings or native compatible plantings, and they really both accentuate the character of the area and also the ecosystem in the general area. So with that, I put together a brief staff report, have no problem with the project. There are really kind of no special conditions. The conditions are all relatively standard, including the one that we would expect an as-built site plan of this, as will the building department anyway. So with that, I'd recommend approval and adoption of the recommended findings and conditions set out in the staff report.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the board for Mr. Fava?
I have.
Please.
On the landscape plan on the southern border, is that an accessory building I see?
So we had originally had some thoughts of doing an accessory structure, but we've taken that off the table at this point. Okay. So I think that's just kind of some holdover line work that shouldn't have shown up.
That would have to go on the site.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I guess my second question is the patio that's attached to the house, does that have a roof over it?
So there are two patios there. So there's one that's a little bit larger that's closer to the pool.
Yeah.
Again, it has kind of a grayish tone in this image. That is not covered at all. Okay. And then there's another, it kind of is more of a squarish shape towards the center of the house, but on the rear of the house, excuse me. I show it as a patio on the building permit plan,
Backstep.
but it could, we were thinking about maybe covering it, maybe like a trellis or something
Might
like
be the
that.
back step.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Any other questions? Craig?
Thank you. Question not really related to the pool, but just for my own edification. Are there fire hydrants and town water out there?
No town water, so we did have to drill a well, and obviously no hydrants. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Hmm.
Great. There are no further questions, I'll entertain.
Mr. Chair, I have one question. So I need clarification now. I thought you had a building permit in for the accessory building and the main house.
No building permits in for the accessory. Yeah.
Okay,
Y-
okay.
I didn't, I know we initially talked about that, way back when we first met. But that standalone structure, that's the garage.
Well, that's what I mean. Isn't that what we're talking about?
Oh, no.
No.
There's some additional line work. If you look just a little bit to the page, I guess, right of that, you can kind of see kind of like an outline.
Kind of like in the lower section of the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The landscape architect left kind of line of the,
Oh, okay.
Garden
Okay.
shed or
Yeah.
Whatever.
I didn't even see that as a building because it's not. But you do have a permit in for an accessory, the garage. Yes.
I guess so, yeah.
This building shown here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that a separate permit?
No, it's within the
Oh,
building
within
permit.
yeah, that's
But
what I
it
mean. Yeah,
seeks
yeah.
permission for the main house.
Correct.
Okay, but I see what you're saying now, Bill, this little
Yeah.
vestigial outline of something.
That's
Yeah, there's no
correct.
permit for that. and I
Correct.
didn't
Correct.
even see the building.
Correct.
Okay, I'll accept a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing?
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So passes unanimously. I'll also accept a motion to adopt or not the motions, the conditions of approval.
I'll
Chairman?
make a motion to adopt the recommended findings and conditions of approval set out herein and grant a use special permit for a swimming pool accessory to the primary single-family residential use in the Six Ponds Special District, 187 Round Cove Road. Applicant Anthony Fava and Laura Fava, trustees.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations.
Great.
Passed
Thank
unanimously.
you all. I really appreciate it.
Looking forward to seeing what come through.
Yeah, looks nice. Take care.
How big?
It's about 3,000 square feet. It's a 4-bed. So
Yeah.
we have 3 kids and a dog, so we need a little space.
Great.
Yep. Thank you.
So, that ends the public hearing. Public meeting has to do with our minutes.
We do
Which
not
I-
have those, the minutes were not done in time to include them in the packet. They are done now, so you would just have them at a subsequent meeting.
Right, okay. If you haven't had a chance, has everybody had a chance to look at them from the email?
Yes.
Yes, do we want to?
Okay, so Elaine did
Yeah, she emailed them,
She
She
yeah.
just didn't put them in the packets. I see, okay.
Yeah.
So if, do we care to make a motion to accept?
Make a motion, we accept the minute meetings of Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, Harwich Planning Board, as written.
Motion and a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passes unanimously. Well, that was easy. Briefings, correspondence, advisory opinions. I was at the Historical Commission meeting, I guess it was last Wednesday, as John. Some interesting developments there. Not necessarily germane to what we're doing, but still nonetheless kind of interesting. I don't know if there are any other ZBA matters this week or that we ought to be looking forward to, or?
Yeah, we didn't get an agenda for, they meet once a month. We
Okay,
didn't get
so
an
nothing-
agenda for this
all right.
meeting.
Okay. Great.
Kind of just a matter. Recall you reviewed a preliminary subdivision for Eastward Companies.
Right.
off the south side of Route 39 near Great Sand Lakes. So they have now applied for a definitive approval. So what I've done in advance of me leaving is put together a staff report, so at least you'll have that.
Thank you.
And of course, there's a consulting engineer for the town, so you should get a consulting engineer's report as well.
Great. So do you start immediately, or will you be able to do any follow-up
I mean, I probably would.
dribs and drabs that may kind of fall in?
I'm always,
Okay,
yeah, I mean, within bounds of ethics, I'm always available for
Right, okay.
questions. Yeah.
right. I just want to make sure if we have any open business that you would be the contact person on that we'd
I'm
want to.
fine, I live 5 minutes away, so
That's
I
what I
can't.
When is your last day, John?
Friday.
This coming Friday? Bummer. Question, this was in the packet, and it looks like it's a list of all of us, planning board, and,
I think Elaine put it
Do anything
together
with it,
because
or-
of new members,
okay.
so new member contacts.
We don't need to take any action on it.
No.
And it doesn't go to anybody else, because I already asked her.
Oh, okay.
If you vote in the negative, no addresses or phone numbers will change.
They won't be emailing you directly.
Yeah.
Great. Is there any other business before the board? This was a tidy, sweet, short meeting. Thank you all for coming. I think we ought to make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. The ayes have it. Thank you, Jonathan. Appreciate your work.